The Sharks push back but are unable to complete the comeback against the Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do, just follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And tonight we'll be breaking down the Sharks 5-2 loss to the Anaheim Ducks. It sounds way worse than it actually is, thanks to a couple empty netters. We'll be continuing to do the kind of good, bad, ugly as we've been doing throughout the whole preseason. We'll talk about Mukhamadullin, Dickinson, Misa, how they stood out again tonight. We'll be talking about some of the ugliness as we continue to see these kind of 5 to 10 minute just mental breakdowns by the Sharks. And then the ugliness that was the veteran defense tonight. Plus, we'll dig into the numbers of this game. So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So, as we have been doing, we will start with the children because I believe the children are the future. We'll start with Michael Misa tonight. And Misa, again, like, you haven't seen the production, but it's okay. The production is going to come. Like, I fully believe the production is going to come. But continuing to play like a seasoned veteran out there, and, you know, he's going to have his mistakes here and there, but he clearly understands his role, what he's supposed to do, where everyone else is supposed to be on the ice. Just so many smart little plays tonight from him. And like, it's a lock at this point that he makes this roster, especially we talked about it yesterday too, but like him playing tonight with Toffoli and Eklund and that line being very good. Eklund tonight was on fire. Like, was easily the Sharks' best player. I think he was actually the first star of the game. I think he was easily the Sharks' best player tonight, William Eklund. But Michael Misa doing all these like just nice little things you like to see, right? Being in the right place, covering for teammates when they kind of make a mistake. I'm looking at you, John Klingberg. Like, just his attention to detail and his ability to be physical when he needs to, like winning board battles, coming away with the puck. It's not a Celebrini type of, like, where Celebrini was just an absolute puck, like a board monster. Like, not like that, way more subtle. But Michael Misa easily fits in. He looks extremely comfortable with Toffoli and Eklund. And once those guys continue to build more chemistry, you're going to start to see a lot more production from this line. And I don't think it's going to take very long, to be honest, especially if Eklund plays at the level he was playing tonight. Like, Eklund was an absolute monster tonight. Monster. I think we are in for a massive Eklund season if he continues to play the way he played tonight. Eklund had a goal. Could have had two, maybe other ones. Like, we could have been talking about an Eklund preseason hat trick tonight, but but Misa, though, just the subtle plays, Celebrini-esque from last year, right? Where you saw those little plays from Celebrini, and then all of a sudden it's going to kind of click and you're going to start to see the production. So the other Dickinson, again, just these subtle, and like, I'm going to kind of lump Dickinson and Mukhamadullin here in a second, because I thought the youngsters defensively way outplayed the veterans, and we're going to talk about the veterans later. But Dickinson tonight, again, just making smart plays, making smart pinches, kind of reading the situation as well. Is there still some of that, like, you got to speed up the internal clock thing? Yes. Like, there was a couple of those plays here and there where he has to kind of speed up the internal clock when he has the puck on his stick, but that will come. Like, it's hard for me if he continues to play the way that he played tonight. And again, like it wasn't anything spectacular, but for Sam Dickinson as a 19-year-old defenseman, you're not looking for anything spectacular right now. He played 17 minutes tonight, which I feel like is a good, like that's probably a good indication for him. But he played 17 minutes tonight. He had a nice block. He made some good defensive plays. He was responsible in his own zone. He applied pressure when he needed to apply pressure in the defensive zone. You saw a couple little plays in the offensive zone. He got it quickly off his stick to the net like that. He is not afraid to let it fly and let that puck go to the net, because how often do things happen, right? Get pucks to net. It's a cliche for a reason. Get pucks to net, and things typically tend to happen. Like, yeah, Dickinson's gonna be good. Mukhamadullin, I thought tonight. I thought Mukhamadullin had a strong night, and you could argue. I think Mukhamadullin is the Sharks' best defenseman. Talk amongst yourselves in that. It's weird because he actually played the second least amongst defensemen. He played 1650 tonight. Only Dmitry Orlov played more, but I thought Mukhamadullin was super effective. Don't look at the plus minus. Like, he was -2 tonight. 1,000,000% not his fault. He was Dmitry Orlov's partner. Orlov made some just bad plays, and Mukhamadullin got on his horse to try to make up for some of those bad plays. But I thought Mukhamadullin was super sharp tonight defensively. I thought he made a really nice play on Beckett Seneca, who had a breakaway where, again, Mukhamadullin gets on his horse, does just enough to kind of get Seneca from getting a clean shot off without taking a penalty. And I thought he was all over. Like, anytime Mukhamadullin was on the ice, he was making positive plays, and you saw him doing positive things. And if you look at hockey stat cards, so I really like hockey stat cards. I think that he great job, great model. Mukhamadullin was way down there on the card because of just horrible plays by Dmitry Orlov. I thought Mukhamadullin was great tonight, especially in his own zone, shutting down plays, and he looks really good as well. So I know Ferraro Liljegren didn't play tonight. You can make a really strong argument that I think Mukhamadullin might be the Sharks' best defenseman, and do with that information what you will. But I thought tonight you saw a lot of positive plays. I think he's had a really strong training camp. We talked about this summer, right, where Mukhamadullin has an opportunity here, especially for a guy who I think is looking to get a nice contract this next offseason. He's well on his way, and I think he was great again tonight. So we'll kind of go through some of the other good performances and stuff like that. But Misa, Dickinson, I think both those guys are going to make the roster. Again, is it going to be nine games and then that's it? If they play like the way they played tonight, and again, I know the production hasn't been there for Misa. It's going to come, and especially if he's playing with Eklund and Toffoli, those guys they're just half a step off on some of their plays. But that's going to come with just more reps together, right? And these guys have played together for 2 weeks now. Those plays are going to start to connect here really soon. I wouldn't be surprised if assuming those three play together at least one more time in the preseason here. I wouldn't be surprised if that line, whether it's Vegas or whether it's against Utah, wouldn't be surprised if that line pops off here really soon. But yeah, overall though, we'll get into a little bit more, but I do think the end of the second period, the beginning of in the entire third period, and yes, the Sharks were down 3-0 at the start of the third period, but seeing this pushback from this team, right? And how many times over the past couple seasons when this team would get down, right, and then you would kind of you wouldn't see like any sort of a pushback. Yes, again, they were down 3 goals and trying to come back in this game. But I do think you saw a lot of positive things, especially that you can build on in these kind of the second half of the second period and the third period here. I do think there was a lot of positive things to gain from, and it's going to be cleaning up these 5 to 10 minute chunks, right? That's all kind of been the bugaboo for the Sharks. So that's what we're going to talk about here in just 1 second. NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. They have a bunch of different ways to play. Player props, I would take the over on Christian McCaffrey receptions on Thursday night's game against the Rams, because I think he's going to catch a lot of checkdowns from Mac Jones. They have parlays, and you can even jump into live lines during games. Whether you're a casual fan or love just diving into stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, before we continue, do of course want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you haven't yet, perfect time to subscribe as preseason's almost done. The regular season is a week from tomorrow, guys. I can't believe the regular season's here. And I think it's going to be one of the most exciting Shark seasons since probably 2018, 2019. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. Of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. All right, so plenty of good with especially around the young players. The bad, right? The just kind of wheels come off, F1 car explodes gif. We seem to have that every game for the Sharks. And yes, I know, again, I mean, even tonight, right? The Sharks had an A- NHL squad, right? I mean, you think about, other than Celebrini, at least among the forwards, that was a pretty NHL squad out there. All those guys will be playing NHL games here. Even Lund, who I think will play NHL games, at some point. The fourth line, all these guys are NHL players or soon to be NHL players, right? In the defense, that's a very NHL heavy defense, other than Sam Dickinson. All these guys have played a bunch of NHL games. We lose our mind for 5 minutes. That's happened a couple times and happened a lot last year. Cropped up again tonight, right? And a lot of it came down to some just bad plays, a little bit of bad puck luck. But this is something where the Sharks are going to have, if they want to take a step this year, right, and not be the worst team in the NHL and not lose 125 games over the last 2 seasons, these are the issues you have to fix and not let crop up. Because other than that 5 minutes, or this was a very even game between, and a lot of people like this Ducks team a lot. A lot of people are picking this team to push for the playoffs. And again, I know they're not running a full NHL squad tonight, but it was a very NHL heavy squad. The Sharks played relatively well against this Ducks team, with the exception of 5 minutes in the middle of the second period, where they just absolutely just shot themselves in the foot. And it's not even like the Ducks just took advantage of the Sharks just shooting themselves in the foot. And that, I think those are the issues that the Sharks will need to work out. And one, having Celebrini will help fix some of those issues, because Celebrini is really good. And two, I know there's a lot of new guys kind of coming together. So this might be something that we deal with early on in the season as some of these guys build chemistry, right? Especially like the blue line. You have 3 new guys for sure, potentially 4 with Dickinson, right? Like there's a lot of new faces and new positions and stuff. So yes, you might deal with some of this, but if the Sharks want to do anything with this season, you can't have these just complete meltdowns where it's just everything goes wrong for 5 minutes type of situation. So, and then the ugly from tonight. Poor Dmitry Orlov. Brutal does not begin to describe this game for him. Just fumbles the puck at the blue line that leads to a goal. Has a bad, like a kind of like he tries to dump it in, but he doesn't read where Misa's going, and he doesn't put it in deep enough where you just like dump it in and let somebody go get it. It's kind of like a half dump in. And the Ducks get the puck and take it the other way, and kind of Gauthier scores there. Like and a lot of just turnovers here and just not great plays tonight, because I do think like Orlov, like I talked about it. We did our whole like Pacific hopefuls preview, and I talked about how Orlov is, I think, one of the most important pieces for the Sharks this season. Go check it out. It came out like 3:00. It's in your feed if you missed it. It's really fun. Me the crack. It was the Ducks, Kraken, Sharks, and Canucks, like all kind of talking about our team. So anyway, I did talk about how Orlov, I think, is one of the most important pieces because if he can play well, it really elevates this defensive group. But if Orlov plays the way he did tonight, and like Klingberg had some costly turnovers, and made some kind of mistakes as well. And Leddy kind of the same thing. Like out of the, like, if you're kind of ranking it, like Orlov's had the worst night. I think Leddy was kind of next. And then Klingberg, if you're power ranking, who had the worst nights. But just a brutal night from the veteran defenseman, and like that is not a good sign. And again, it's preseason. We don't want to overreact. Don't want to, you don't want to overreact too positive or too negative. But it's just, I'm going to be watching how this group plays coming up here, right? Because again, Mukhamadullin, I thought, was the best defenseman tonight. I thought Sam Dickinson had a really strong game as well. And you didn't see some of these turnovers and mistakes were rookie-esque mistakes, right? And I thought Darnay's had a really steady game as well. Super funny watching him put 2 Ducks in a headlock. Just hilarious. Vinny Darnay's putting 2 put him on the team just for that. But it is a little worrisome that like the 3 guys like Mike Greer, right, brought in to help stabilize this defense just all had horrible nights tonight. So again, it's preseason. There's a lot of new names and faces getting used to playing with each other. So we don't want to overreact. Just you like to see it a little bit cleaner. So from those guys, but we're going to dig into kind of the numbers of this game. We'll talk about every player, including the fourth line, where I say positive things about Ryan Reeves, who I thought had a really good game tonight. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. All right, guys, before we dig into the numbers of this game, I do, of course, want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your second listen, check out the 2025 NHL season preview on Locked On NHL, an 8-episode series bringing the best local insight to make you the most informed NHL fan heading into the season. It's pretty cool. We have like teams who made the playoffs last year for each division and teams who missed the playoffs, and the teams that missed, how do you try to get into the playoff group next season? Yes, so you can find the one I did on my show if you want to go check out the whole series find Locked On NHL on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. So let's dig into the numbers of this game. As again, a very even game between these two teams, other than 5 minutes where these Sharks decided to just shoot themselves in the foot over and over. Very Sideshow Bob stepping on the rakes, like just 5 minutes of that for the Sharks tonight. So, but again, like 28 to 25 shots on goal in all situations. The penalties were a little bit were pretty even. The Sharks got a little bit better. They had 5 opportunities compared to the Ducks 3. But when it came to like 5-on-5 play, Sharks more shot attempts than the Ducks. There was about 45 minutes of 5-on-5, 41 to 34 shot attempts in favor of the Sharks. Actual shots, 21 to 20 in favor of the Sharks. 16 to 13 scoring chances in favor of the Ducks there. 4 to 4 high danger chances, and then 1.28 to 1.2 expected goals for in favor of the Sharks. So again, a very evenly played game between these two. Is just crucial mistakes beginning of the second period to the middle of the second period, I think was the difference. And again, I know it's 5-2, 2 empty netters at the end when the Sharks were trying to tie this game up. So like, don't overthink the score there. So as for the lines, we had Eklund, Misa, Toffoli played 10-22 at 5-on-5, 11 to 12 shot attempts, 7 to 6 actual shots, 0 goals for, had a goal allowed on that group, 0.65 to 0.45 expected goals for, 4 to 7 scoring chances, 2 to 2 high danger chances. This line was I think the Sharks' best line. Most consistent line. Toffoli hit the post a couple times. Eklund, like I said, had a couple opportunities. Eklund, again, I think he had 2 just beautiful setups that just weren't able to Sharks weren't able to convert. He also had 2 other potential goals. Like, Eklund was flying around tonight, easily I think the best Sharks player. Next, Carl Grundstrom, Adam Gaudette, and Ryan Reeves played 7:30. Corsi forced 7 to 3 shot attempts for, 3 to 2 actual shots, no goals allowed, no goals for, 0.03 to 0.04 expected goals allowed, 2 to 1 scoring chances in favor. This line played really well tonight. Ryan Reeves, like, first shift, what does he do? He goes out there and he just knocks a dude down, and he gets a nice shot towards the net, knocks another dude down, and kind of puts this, like, I'm here, I'm in teal, this is what I'm going to do, guys. So, like, good to see from Ryan Reeves. Again, not going to overreact or underreact or whatever from one preseason game, but if Ryan Reeves can be this effective all season long, it's a big if. I will definitely be eating some crow on Ryan Reeves, but good for him. I thought he was limited usage, but he was effective tonight. So Grundstrom, you saw a man who is very desperate because he knows he's on the roster bubble kill, and I thought he played pretty well too. And then Gaudette on the penalty kill is something I'm really going to be watching this year, because I think he has a chance to be a really solid contributor on the penalty kill, and he's been very good so far on the penalty kill in the preseason. Again, we were saying the same thing about Filip Zadina a couple years ago. I don't think Gaudette's Filip Zadina, but just something to kind of keep an eye on here. Skinner, Wenberg, and Graf played 7:04, 6 to 4 shot attempts, 5 to 2 actual shots, 0.08 to 0.04 expected goals for that line, 3 to 1 scoring chances for that line. Just a professional line. And like, if this is your third line, this might be the Sharks' best third line in like this decade. And I'm not trying to like be facetious and stuff, but like, think back to some of the third lines that the Sharks have put together over the past couple of years. And I know that like Graf got taken off for a little bit to like Grunstrom play on the line as well. And they were, kind of mixing things up here a little bit. But that's just a professional line. Like Jeff Skinner, professional goal scorer, scored a goal tonight, right? Wenberg, like solid defensively. Colin Graf, like smart player. That's just a very professional line, and it's something I will happily take. Yes. So I thought that like you like to see it. So Lund, Smith, Philip Kurashev played 507, 3-8 shot attempts, 0-5 actual shots, gave up 2 goals again. Orlov, Orlov was part of one of those, but anyway, Lund, I thought was okay tonight. Will Smith showing his creativity. The first goal on the power play, this like slap pass that to Toffoli. Toffoli kind of fumbled it a little bit, but Eklund was Johnny on the spot there to put it home. And Kurashev, I really have liked Kurashev's game for the Sharks in the preseason. I think might be one of those really smart signings where you pay a guy not a lot of money and you might turn him into gold here. And whether the Sharks keep him or flip him or whatever, but I think Kurashev is on his way to kind of putting up numbers similar to what we saw a couple of years ago when he put up, 50 plus points for the Blackhawks. Again, I don't know if he's putting up 50 plus points, but if he's in the 40 to 45 points, I think that is a very successful season. And I think he's shown a lot, like his ability to kind of get to the danger areas, et cetera, et cetera. I think Kurashev has had a pretty solid start in this preseason. And I think he's going to be playing big time minutes for the Sharks this year. So, as for we kind of mentioned the defense a lot, so I'm not going to continue to harp on that. But Askarov, I think tonight was okay-ish. Like the Seneca, like all the goals were like, would you like a goalie to make a stop there? Yes. But like the Seneca one was just a sweet move by Seneca, or he just makes his little toe drag, and like there's a reason why Beckett Seneca was taken 3rd overall. I do think he was like that. That was a tough save right there. But again, like the Cutter Gauthier one, it's like you're put into kind of hung out to dry there a little bit, but. Askarov, 20 saves on 23 shots in all situations here. 3 goals allowed on 1.48 expected goals. 4-4 high danger, 2 of 5 of the mid danger, and 14 of 14 of the low danger saves. And he had an 870 save percentage tonight for Askarov. So I think he was fine. I'm curious to see if he gets another start this weekend, especially with the back-to-back. I still think the Sharks will probably pull up one more goal, like recall a goalie going into this road trip here. But overall, like I think he played much better the first game than he did tonight, but I still think he was solid tonight. And then like I'm not putting this loss on him. Like I think we know like the defense's struggles tonight, I think is a big reason why the Sharks lost tonight, unfortunately. So but positive things, Dickinson, Misa, William Eklund looks like he's a man on a mission this year. And I, for one, am here for it. The Eklund Supremacy Tour this year is going to be obnoxious from one host here. So, but that's going to be it for me tonight. Make sure, again, you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And, of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok. Cowabunga, Hans Moleman. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at my fry hole. Until tomorrow. Bye, friends.